Hey, my name is Jeff Puera, and I'm the founder of RhinoBuilt Barbell Club. RhinoBuilt Barbell Club started about 5 years ago. Came about by we were working out one day at Thrive Gym, and it was when I was started getting back into working out after overcoming some surgeries, a neck surgery, and I met a good friend, Chili, and Corey. Unfortunately, Corey has passed away. We were the three original. We just started working out as like a bunch of friends, and I started training again, training people again. As I've been training, started my personal training career in '96 when I was going to school and working at the gym at Bristol Community College as a trainer for extra money. The name RhinoBuilt came by one day when I was training at the gym, and I'm also a fireman here locally in Palm Coast. And one of the guys that I was training, we have nicknames. They used to call me the Rhino, is one of them, among some others. And while we were working out, one of them turned around and Chili had turned and said, "Hey man, things are going good. You're getting pretty big," to one of my clients. And he turned around and said, "Yeah, well, I'm getting Rhino built." And then the name stuck. Shortly after that, then we got together and we started working pretty good. And I ended up switching gyms, and we went to another local gym here in town. And that's where I met Josh Chandler. Josh has been with me now for about 3 years. He's been with us. He's been my right hand, apart from as far as training goes.
Hello, my name is Josh Chandler. I'm from Palm Coast, Florida. I was one of the founders, I guess, of RhinoBuilt. JPO came to me when he seen me and my daughter training and asked us if we wanted to be competitive power lifters. At first, I was like, no, but my daughter, I thought it would be a good thing to get her into, so she would have other people to compete with and other kids that were training of her age. So she started doing it, and I was like, okay, well, I'm all in then. So I started training with RhinoBuilt exclusively then. So when I first started with RhinoBuilt, I was with JPO coaching. And soon after, I found that coaching is not for me. I'm not a coach. I can help, but I'm not a person who's going to motivate these kids to do anything. I will show them how to do things properly, but I'm never going to push them to any limit. One reason is because I don't really care about what limits we can push them to. I care about how safe they are. And another thing is I'm just not good at it. So I'm not a good coach. So I found myself, I would much rather compete. So moving from that, I started competing. And I've set 4 American records, 6 or 9 state records. I became a pro RPS powerlifter. I've squatted 705 pounds, benched 485 in competition, and deadlifted 529. I've set where at 242, I've set in my sub-master division an elite total. My son has went on chasing, has broken numerous American records. He's broken bench, squat, and deadlift for 2 different weight classes, making him the strongest youth powerlifter in history. He has set every record imaginable in state from youth 1 to youth 3. We taught kids. The thing that I wanted to push for the kids is I wanted it to be more about technique and doing things properly than to really care about how much weight they were lifting or anything like that. So me and JPO started that initiative to kind of carry over to the kids in the community. So we started bringing in different girls to create a team and took them to competitions. We have we've had a few national champions. I have a national champion bench presser, youth national champion powerlifter who has set 8 American records and 57 state records. We have a girl who is 13, Tatiana, who has set numerous state records, and this year will most likely win nationals. We try to teach all the little kids how to do things. So it's these kids that are the champions are the outliers. These kids want it. It's not something we do. We could just give them a game of checkers and they would do whatever they could to win. So it's a different sense in these kids that are winning. It's not because of us. We only give them the tools to show them how to be safe. And that's what we do with all the kids. We just teach them how to be safe so they're not getting injured. So if they're not getting injured and they have the drive, they'll win. So that's what we try to instill in all the kids. Just safety, how to do things right. And hopefully someday they will be ready to move on and do this for themselves and hopefully help other people. So that's what we're trying to pass on as far as RhinoBuilt goes. We're trying to pass on something to the youth that someday, hopefully, it will be something that they can pass on to another set of youth. And we can continue to build on that and keep, hopefully, what RhinoBuilt's doing, we can pass it on to a full community. So we try to create something that people can feel invited and people can have a sense of belonging. So that's really what we do with RhinoBuilt is we wanted a team that people can belong to for an individual sport. So strength sports are individual sports, but you need a team around you to perform things on a daily basis. You need spotters. You need people to help you load at meets. You need people to do various things for you. And if you don't have those people with you, you'll always come up short. So we try to do things that are more of a family atmosphere, of a coming together, and try to accomplish a unity through our individual sport. It doesn't have to be kids. If you want to join and you're not a kid, you're an adult, and maybe you just aren't very good at moving correctly, or you have various pains and you want to sort things out and you haven't been making progress, well, maybe RhinoBuilt is right for you. So if you do have that desire, then come join us.
My wife, Dorothy, then started doing a lot of training, and she got her training going on and became a trainer herself. And we started another chapter called RB Herbal Girls, dedicated more towards the girls aspect, which stands for RhinoBuilt Herbal Girls.
Hi, my name is Dorothy Puera, also wife of Jeffrey Puera, and I am one of the trainers for RhinoBuilt Barbell Club. So Herbal Girls was established. My husband is the trainer for RhinoBuilt Barbell Club, and when I started going to the gym about 5 years ago, I was very like, no, this is not for me. I was very intimidated with all these guys around me. I was probably one of the only girls in the gym. I was like, we gotta try to find a new way that I can help or just not feel intimidated with everybody around me. So that's why I started RhinoBuilt Herbal Girls. So as the years went by, I felt the gym wasn't so bad. I started enjoying, we started off with 30 minutes a day, then it went up to 45 minutes, then it ended up till now, we're at there 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So last year, my husband put me in a competition from Maxium magazine. It was exciting, it was fun. Never did I think I was gonna get anywhere just because, but I ended up making it 33rd place in the country. So I was very excited. And I also want to thank my husband for always encouraging me and pursuing that I could do this. And I'm 41 years old now, and it could be done for anybody. It doesn't matter what age you are, what you look like, what your background, anything could be done. Anything can be done if you just put your mind to it and stay focused.
With Josh, he came in and didn't want to compete at first, and it was mostly his daughter, Hayden. She came in, she wanted to work out and started competing with us. She ended up going and she did really well at USAPL. She won a bunch of championships. Then her younger brother, Chasen, he turned around and then he wanted to start coming in. And then that's when me and Josh started thinking, and we said, hey, you know what? Let's make this something that we can use for our youth, see if we can excel in our youth and get them off the street so they have somewhere to go and something to do. And that was the birth of RhinoBuilt Barbell Club. Since the start of RhinoBuilt Barbell Club, we've had a bunch of real good athletes come through, young athletes inspired that they wanted to grow, not only fitness-wise, but it helped them with their concentration, it helped them on their day-to-day and how they react with others. And it gave them a competitive spirit, but yet at the same time being humbled. We've had champions like William Lamb. William turned around and he won nationals first year out, which was pretty impressive. So much so that he also turned around and was chosen to go to Japan earlier this year for the World Championship in the bench. Due to unforeseen circumstances, he couldn't make it, but it was pretty cool being nominated and asked to go. We followed it, and it was pretty heartbreaking too, because seeing who actually won in his division, he would have won, but there's always next year. Then we also have Richard Pham, who's an amazing young man. He put his heart into it. He was also a lifter for high school and on Olympic lifting, and he did well, but he really took to the powerlifting, and he really grew a lot. He did very well. He excelled pretty quick. With the help of Chandler, myself, and also Richard Rodriguez, which was another amazing friend of ours. He put a lot of time and dedication into these kids, and it was more of a family, and that's what RhinoBuilt is. It's not really a club, it's more of a family atmosphere. As a matter of fact, Richard would come in every day to the gym and he'd look at me or Dorothy, my wife, and it was mom and dad. He'd call us mom and dad all the time. He's gone on, getting ready for schooling. So he took a little break for a while, but now he's bodybuilding. And that's the good thing about RhinoBuilt Barbell Club. It's not just about powerlifting. It's whether you're a powerlifter or a CrossFitter, you want to do bikini or IFBB Pro for bodybuilding. I mean, there's all different aspects. We actually have Herman Kepler, which is a very close friend of ours, and he's also an IFBB Pro bodybuilder. He's been with us and he helps train for a lot of times. He's actually moved to New York and he's leading it up in New York for us there. We have I have Chris. Chris is someone new, about a year into it with us.
What's going on? It's Christopher Anthony Smeraldi. I live locally here on Palm Coast. Just recently came on board with RhinoBuilt Barbell. I'm from Long Island, New York. I grew up there 22 years. I was on Strong Island. Grew up in a tough neighborhood. Pretty much the strong survive. So I grew up just, vending for myself. Luckily, by the grace of God, I had a good father that looked out for me. Tough love, but lived a life where I put a lot of reliance on myself, where battling, fighting, and gym was a huge outlet for me to manage a lot of anger, a lot of bitterness, a lot of rage that was built up over the years, a lot of resentment, but maybe a mother not being in the picture. It was a scapegoat for me for a long time, and in the midst of the gym, it was a hobby, and I was a dedicated wrestler from middle school to high school. I thrived in that area. I remember picking up and slamming this guy out in the parking lot, and coach seen me put him to sleep, and he said, "Hey, what do you think about getting a gold medal for doing that instead of OSS?" So I took his invitation. I thought it was a little weird to be able to sing them, but I used to, yeah, it was good, So wrestling background, that started 7th grade. Then I got into the MMA, watching UFC online, watching people elbow people, slam people, triangles, etc. And I grew aspiration for that, a love for that. So really started with working out training. My workout method was really inclined to hurt people. And then, like I said, I seen it as a therapeutic. We pretty much came in contact over at one of the local gyms. Started off I felt the Holy Spirit lead me over to Jeff, and we just started chopping it up, had a dialogue amongst each other, started sharing our heart, some of the things that God transformed in our lives. We were able to relate because we had some background as far as the street goes, that just God made a major change by the sovereignty of his hand, and we had a lot of qualities that we can relate to one another. And one, it's our love for the Lord, and then secondly, our love just to push him iron and bend some steel. But it's been a privilege and an honor that our paths crossed. And yeah, RhinoBuilt, man, he introduced it as a team, and I don't even see it as a team anymore. I see it as a family. He welcomes me with open arms to his household, introduces me to his children as if I'm his own. And on a weekly basis now, I've been coming over and working out with him on a diligent basis. Very informative, always providing information as far as nutrition goes, different tactics, ways that I can train more properly. And moral of the story, he looks out for you, you know, and it makes me feel at home when I'm over here. Probably one of my favorite things is just the camaraderie we have here, the comfortability just to exalt the name Jesus, to lift his name high. Like I said, you know how you get a bunch of alpha dogs and you get them in one room, and there's always this tension, and I don't feel that tension. I feel like, as Proverbs talks about, iron sharpens iron like man sharpens man, and I believe every time we train together there's a sense of sharpening one another. It's never a sense of who's bigger, better, or stronger, but it's continual encouragement that we actually desire for people to surpass us. You know, where I look at Christ, that he came not to be served, but to serve. And I see RhinoBuilt portraying that it's not actually here for the name. It's not for us to blow up and get big, but it's to exalt the Son of God and help the community. That, like I said, this ain't about us. It's not even about the weights, but it's just getting kids off the street and giving them hope through the risen Savior, and then just building up weak vessels into strong vessels. Because you already know, if you look good, you feel good, and you do good. And not only spiritually we're here to encourage you, but physically and mentally. So we want a good balance, and I believe truly that's the heart and the motive of this all, is that we can all be at peace with God, be in communion with him, and we know that we're called to love God and love our neighbor, and I believe that's what RhinoBuilt is here, and that's what he's portraying. And I applaud that. Yeah, if I can encourage anyone out there, I think there's a huge misunderstanding and misconception when it comes to Christianity. A lot of people think humility and meekness is weakness, and man, we look at the Apostle Peter. He says, I don't want to be crucified the same way as my Savior. He says, hang me upside down. And you talk about someone being a gangster, that's gangster. That you're willing to lay down your life for what you truly believe because it's the truth. And I just encourage you, man, if you're tough and you think you're bad, come on down. We're gonna put it to the test. And throughout the struggles, the sweat, the blood, and the tears, I'm gonna give you a hug every time at the end of each and every set. So man, I dare you, come down, bro, get involved. Let's run this. It's your set, baby.
Our team is coming out of Fitness One. That's our new home gym, and actually I'm a personal trainer there too, with our head trainer giving us a lot of support. My boss, Heather, she's backed us up the whole way. She's wanted a lot of the power lifters there, which is very odd. A lot of gyms don't really take kindness to powerlifting for whatever reasons, but they've embraced it. They've let us do our things. Then I have my daughter Tatiana, who became Florida State champion. She set 32 records, I believe. 32 or 36 records last year. She just qualified for nationals, so this will be her first year in nationals.
My name is Tatiana Puer. I'm 13 years old, and I've been with RhinoBuilt for about 3 to 4 years now. I have learned a lot being with RhinoBuilt. I did my first competition, it was about 2 years ago, and I didn't think I was going to do as well as I did, which I did pretty well, and I was actually really excited. Then I had nationals this year, but I had to do a qualifier. So my qualifier was like a month ago, and I was excited because I qualified for nationals. So I would be going to nationals in August. I'm very excited for that because not a lot of people have a chance to go to nationals, and I'm very excited that I got that chance. If I do well at nationals, then I'll be going to the world meet, and that is going to be exciting because I'll be on the USA team for powerlifting. That'll be a lot of fun. And being with RhinoBuilt has been really fun. Like, my dad and my mom have been training me. It has been fun, and this whole journey with RhinoBuilt has really changed my life.
The purpose for RhinoBuilt Barbell Club is that we're trying to emulate a more healthier atmosphere here within our community, especially towards the kids, teaching them how to exercise properly, how to diet and eat properly, and make it a lifestyle change. and at the same time having fun and trying to incorporate the family involved with, the parents, so this can be a family thing. It's not just an individual. Trying to bring families together to be healthier. And this is what RhinoBuilt's all about.